How do we change? Can we change? These are among the questions that the Torah asks. The Torah, of course, is not a story about or just about the past, but it's supposed to be about us now. And how do we get from last week's Torah portion, where we read about a exile shepherd who was unsure of himself, who in this week's Torah portion is involved in a showdown with the most powerful ruler on earth? Why does he change? How does he change? And the beginning of it really is that moment we read last week where Moses encounters God at the burning bush. Moshe, Moshe, Hineni, that God calls to him, says, Moshe, Moshe. Moses replies, Hineni, here I am. It's that moment, really, of knowing that you're here and there's a call of some purpose in the world that you respond to. When we're al tikrav, halo shel na'alecha al raglecha, ki hamakom asher ata omed alav atmat kodeshu. And he said, do not come closer. Remove your sandals from your feet, for the place on which you stand is holy ground. And it's really this sense of being grounded in one place, of knowing where you are. And God will say, I'm the God of your ancestors. Lets Moshe know where he's coming from. And says, we're going to come, I'm going to send you, and I will be with you, and we will rescue your countrymen from their sufferings, where you're going. That's what gives Moshe the strength, the know where you're standing, know where you've been, and have a sense of purpose of where you're going. That's what allows him to change and transform himself to do something great. That, of course, is the Jewish story as well, that we have the most strength when we're able to know where we're standing, where we've been, and where we're going. This is part of the core story of Jews over the last 200 years. Listen to my favorite commentators, Haviv Rettig-Gur, talks about the story of the Jews of the 20th century who faced a choice of essentially learn Hebrew, learn English, or die. Which he says because 90% of the world's Jews today speak as a first language English or Hebrew. Of course, there are Jewish communities elsewhere in France and Latin America and the former Soviet Union, but over 90% live in English-speaking countries or in the land of Israel. 200 years ago, almost no Jews spoke English or Hebrew as their first language. It had been low single digits. No one speaking Hebrew as a daily language back then, and only a few speaking English. So how did it go from almost no one being like this to almost all speaking one of these two languages as their first languages? Because history all but wiped out masses of Jews. Others fled before the sword or before discrimination. And today we can look around the world and know that the choice that our ancestors faced was learn English, learn Hebrew, or else. Where we stand now, of course, is a place of security. American Jews have issues, and we always have and we always will. Those issues will change year by year. But we're by and large okay. Israel, of course, defends itself. Like the United States, Israel has a sense of security. And that security comes with a price. It's not free, and it's not that others don't suffer. Of course they do. We have to be aware of this and try to minimize as much as possible. And we're going into a future where we'll continue the mission handed down from the time of the burning bush, which is to know where we came from, know where we're standing, and to try and face down tyranny, to try and bring hope, to know that there's a purpose in life, to know that we are to answer Hineni, to say, I am here, to know where we stand, our past, and that sense of future, of being one of hope and trying to make things better. That's what we're called to do. Shabbat Shalom.